Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Boldcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And today we're watching episode 10 of Naruto, The Forest of Chakra. Last episode we were left on a bit of a cliffhanger. Kakashi fell unconscious and Zabuza's body was carried away by a tracker ninja from the Hidden Mist Village. Waiting to see what's going on there. Alrighty, we're going in right now if the neighbors will stop stomping around. Alright, here we go. So, do you have any predictions for the episode? What do you think happened to Kakashi?
I don't know. I mean, we kind of talked about it last time of, maybe, either he was, injured somehow and didn't notice, although that seems a little bit unlikely, or, I don't know, somehow using his powers of his crazy eye.
Sharingan?
Yeah, really takes it out of him, and that's why he doesn't use it very often, but I don't know. I don't think we're far enough into this show and, my understanding of how everything works to be able to make, accurate predictions.
Yeah, and I guess you haven't watched much other, shonen series, so you don't have, a well of knowledge and, conventions to draw upon, I guess.
No. I mean, he could just be dead, but... I don't... 2 deaths in 1 episode is a bit much, I kind of think. Yeah.
I think I overdid it with my Sharingan.
Ha.
Sharingan is amazing and everything, but if it puts that much strain on you, maybe it's not worth it.
Sorry.
You all wouldn't die. What are you talking about?
One of the most powerful ninja assassins, so we'll be safe for a while.
Right, but you know that boy with the mask? What about him?
He's from the elite tracking unit of the village hidden in the mist. Those masks are only worn by the most elite shinobi.
What exactly do they do?
The ANBU Black Ops, also known as the Inferno Squad, destroy all traces of a rogue ninja's corpse. Shinobi's body contains many secrets, ninjutsu, chakra, special medicines used on his body. These are the secrets of his village. If his enemies find them, his people would be in grave danger. For instance, if I were to die at the hands of an enemy, he would try to analyze my Sharingan. It is the sacred duty of the shinobi trackers to prevent this, to keep the village secrets safe. If a ninja betrays his village, the trackers hunt him down and obliterate every trace of his existence. That's enough.
So, you've already come back to life.
You're brutal. Haku.
You're the one who's brutal, Zabuza.
Long are you planning to wear that phony mask? Take it off.
I have good memories of this mask, and it was quite useful for tricking that ninja. If I hadn't intervened, you'd be dead now. That much is certain.
Putting me in a temporary death state is fine, but not through the pressure points in my neck. Usual. I think you enjoy it.
It was the only sure way. And I wouldn't want to mark up your flawless body. You'd complain about that even more. The neck is more vulnerable. There's no layer of muscle, so I could go straight into the pressure points. The mist is cleared.
Next time, I'll see right through his Sharingan.
Sure.
The Forest of Chakra.
Something's wrong.
Are you okay? Sensei?
Oh, yeah. To finish what I was saying, Tracker Ninja deal with the body immediately, on the spot. Do you remember what that tracker did with Zabuza's body?
We don't know what he did.
Exactly. But why? He should have worked on Zabuza right there, as quickly as possible.
Throwing needles. No way.
Exactly. None of it adds up.
Huh.
What are you all yammering about? You demolished that assassin.
Go away.
It's his house.
I don't care.
Body, believe it! Kakashi-sensei!
Pierce deeply, but rarely kill unless they hit a vital organ. Not in the neck. They're modified from needles used for medical treatments like acupuncture. Trackers are trained to know every detail of the human body, causing the heart to stop temporarily.
Just in class.
Come on, you're overthinking this, aren't you? Encountering suspicion, the ninja prepares quickly. Hesitation leads to disaster. He's actually pleased to hear Zabuza's alive. Now Naruto's got another shot at him.
You said prepare. Reasonable about this. You're trying to get us killed? Sure.
Sakura, why was I able to stop Zabuza? Because you all helped me. You
I mean,
grown.
she didn't really do anything, but
Naruto,
She barely, like, protected the bridge builder. You've grown the most, Naruto.
I mean, it was the worst in the class.
That's true. He had the most room to grow.
Sensei, now things are gonna get better. Believe it. I don't believe it, and nothing's gonna be good.
I don't believe it. This fucking kid.
Nice hat, real trendy.
Cause I'm just a teenage dude, big baby.
That was very rude. This ninja has
It's okay. I'm rude to them too.
Don't you see these people are gonna die? Gato and his men will come back and find them and wipe them out. What did you say, brat? Listen up. You know what a super ninja is? Well, that's me, only a lot better. I'm gonna
Super
be
ninja.
Hokage. This Gato or Blato or whatever he's called is no match for a real hero like me. There's no such thing as a hero. You're just full of stupid ideas. What'd you say?
Just attacks like a 5-year-old kid.
Came from. I'm gonna put him in his place right now.
What is with him?
Huh? He's crying?
What a wimp. Just attacks him.
Looks like
Why
he's
is he sitting like that?
kind of looks like he's jerking off into the ocean. Aw.
No, Daddy, no.
It is really sad though.
Why did you say that?
No, Daddy, no.
Chakra is essential. We know that.
He's right.
But the audience
Long time
doesn't.
ago we learned about, Katra.
Chakra.
Why is she just holding that? Where'd she get that?
She probably has it or something.
Now, this energy has two forms. Physical energy, which exists in all the cells in the entire body, all working together. And spiritual energy, the primal source of power, which is intensified through training and experience. As you see, these two types of chakra must be drawn out and brought together in order to perform jutsu. Finally, hand signs. Focus and unleash the chakra.
Right on all points.
Hated explanations. The whole point is to learn the jutsu, isn't it?
Naruto's right for once. We're already using chakra energy in our jutsu. No, you have not mastered this power. You've barely scratched the surface.
No!
What do you mean?
Down and listen.
I love that.
Just like Sakura
I kind of want to clip that
you have
and
to
use it.
draw on physical.
What do we have to do?
Climb a tree.
Climb a tree?
That's right. No hands.
What? You're kidding.
I actually love this as like a training bit.
Let's see.
He's climbing.
Straight up. And he's only using his feet.
Actually, he's also using crutches. That's
Well,
cheating.
you get the idea. Focus the chakra toward the soles of your feet, and
But how does it help us fight Zabuza?
it's the only way to fight him, Sakura. That's
Idiot.
the entire goal of this training. First, you'll learn to
It's the
draw
only
a
way,
precise
Sakura.
amount of chakra
That's the
to a
whole
precise
point of this
point.
episode.
This is learn to maintain your chakra levels. When a ninja is focused in battle, it's even harder to control and maintain his chakra levels.
Look
A
like
deadly
bunnies.
mistake. To
They
avoid
do.
maintaining chakra must become second nature. Tree at the highest point you can climb without using your hands. Then try to get past that mark the next time. And the next. At first you'll need to run at the tree so your momentum can take you as high as possible. Until you get used to it. Ready?
I'm more than ready. This is gonna be new swell all
How do you think this is gonna go?
I don't know.
Who do you think is gonna get it first?
Definitely the one who talks the most.
I don't know.
Take a guess. Just take a random guess.
I don't know. Maybe Sakura? Is that how you say her name?
Yeah, Sakura.
Maybe her, just because she hasn't really done anything that great lately, and she seems to kind of know what's going on. life.
If the chakra's too strong, it smashes the tree and pushes you off. But if it's not strong enough, you just tumble back down.
Ow.
Naruto.
Giant goose egg. Like Naruto. I like how he says it's super Japanese.
Hey, this is fun!
Correctamundo. Hermione over here. Except like 5 times as dumb.
Looks like the female member of the squad is the most advanced chakra control. Well done, Sakura.
Good thing you finally have something going for you. I was thinking about kicking you off this team.
Sakura, I always knew you were awesome. Believe it.
Simp.
Whatever.
Chad.
Who's got the best chance of that? You say? And as for the great Uchiha clan, maybe they're not so great after all.
Shut up, Sam. You talk.
Wow.
Sasuke's gonna hate me now.
Now I see why your family all died, you weak bitch.
All right. First I'll stop this. Then I'm going
Just
all the way to the top.
screaming.
Believe it.
Wait. First of all, great way to pause. I just want you guys to hear this. During quarantine, this has been happening like every day for at least an hour. Just kids playing. It's fine. It's just not great for reactions. Alright, here we go. That's such
Pretty
a cool
cool.
layer. I love that shit.
Missed. More like coward of the hidden mist. All right. Let's hear what you have to say about this fiasco. And don't play possum. I know you can talk.
Keep your filthy hands off of him.
You're gonna break it!
Don't push me. I'm in a really foul mood.
Now this time, I'll cut you off, and there'll be no one left to cover for you.
Haku, that wasn't necessary.
Perhaps. But it's too early to take out Kato. He's still our best cover. Think about it. The murders would draw their attention. Then they'd be after us again.
I love this shot.
We need restraint.
Look at his head. There's like goose eggs on goose eggs. What? Did she fall off? She did it perfectly.
Maybe she just did it a bunch more times.
Naruto isn't making any progress at all.
Or maybe did he say like, try to hang upside down and then she fell off? Is that what happened?
No, that didn't happen, but
Okay.
There he goes.
I don't know why she's hurt then.
Embarrassing.
I think she's just tired.
Hey, you're good at this. How about some advice? Please don't tell Sasuke I asked. Please, please.
He's catching on.
Teamwork.
Now on, he'll get stronger and stronger. How strong? After all, Naruto possesses more chakra than Sasuke. In fact, the amount of chakra he possesses is greater than my own.
That's a pretty good episode. There wasn't like a lot of wasted time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everything, there wasn't like they weren't hanging on those shots for like way too long, really. Like some of them are a little long, but like
Yeah.
not like it was a couple episodes ago. And no recap. Like I don't know, they really used the time to their advantage, but without like rushing it.
I agree, yeah.
You know? What are your do you have any general thoughts about the episode before we get into? I took a bunch of notes this episode.
Oh, I only
so-
took one.
Okay,
but,
what do you got?
I'll talk about
okay,
the episode
sure.
first and then I'll bring that up. But like I thought it was good. I thought it had like a good balance of like telling us information, having them do a task, and then also like the rest of the story still moving in the background.
Yeah.
I don't think that there was a lot of like we already said like there wasn't a lot of wasted time or like pointless stuff, and they did have a couple like they were talking about the chakra a lot, and that was kind of an info dump,
Yeah.
but they made it relevant to what they were doing.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated.
Yeah, they kind of reminded you of like what Konohamaru said in like the second episode, explained what chakra was. I think that was like, I don't think he actually does that in the manga. He might. It would make sense because, you know, he's the Hokage's son, or grandson and everything. But yeah, they reminded you of it, but they also taught you, they added like, okay, in case you missed it, here's the entire explanation, but also that, you know, it's in every cell of your body working together. It's enhanced during training. You need to, like, it's not just about having chakra and using it. It's about, like, carefully, like, filtering out a certain amount and, like, making sure you're controlling the amount that you're releasing at a certain time in a different part of your body. You know, it's really interesting the way they did that. I always love the way that, it's really common for anime to have, like, a training thing like that. Like, in Dragon Ball, Krillin and Goku, when they're, like, kids and they're first being trained by Master Roshi, they're, like, they're on his island, basically, but they travel to the mainland, and their job at, like, 5 in the morning every morning is to take this crate of milk and then run it across this entire valley and up this mountain to this Buddhist temple. And they have to, like, there's, like, trees on the side of the road, on each side of this road up there, and they have to, like, crisscross, like, their traffic cones through. And it's really simple stuff like that, like, almost like Mr. Miyagi or, like, Karate Kid style training, that it's a really simple task, but it helps you out in a way that you didn't expect. In this one, it's a little more overt. You know, you're climbing a tree, but using chakra in a specific way. It's not like, whatever, wax on, wax off, or something like that. Yeah, I think they really used the training effectively. And yeah, it's not like the episode like, stood still. Yeah. Like you said, like, the plot was still moving along, and it didn't feel like we're now sitting around doing bullshit training to pass the time. It's like, you know, this could improve them in a really big way. Yeah, like, if this training had taken place before sort of the plot got rolling and there was other things going on, it definitely would have been boring, and it definitely would have been, like, a lot of shots that were, like, way too long, and, like, but it sort of, like, cuts between, oh shit, that guy's still alive. Yeah. And then, okay, we gotta prepare for that. And then, like, this is what he's doing, like, exactly, the bad guys are getting into action and stuff. Yeah, cutting back and forth and, like, doing parallel action. It shows that what they're working on actually is gonna have a purpose, because they're obviously still in danger. I agree. It's not like, you know, everything has a purpose. And that's something that, I think it's Avatar, The Last Airbender does it really well. It's a similar thing, and I'll explain what it is. It's basically, you set a power ceiling. And I saw a video on it, like, a couple of years ago, but this thing that Avatar, The Last Airbender does, and that this arc does really well, is that it, with that fight with Kakashi and Zabuza, and having Naruto, like, and Sasuke, actually pull one over on Zabuza, and it's like, you both see the power of, like, these two high-level ninja and see, like, oh, this is what we could achieve. We could get to this level where they're, like, super crazy, awesome. Maybe not this arc, but it gives us something to shoot for. So we know, at the very least, there's probably more powerful people out there, maybe, but these are the most powerful people we know in the show. There's a wide gap between where they are, but they could still get a hit on them if they're really smart and if they train well. That's something that Avatar: The Last Airbender does. It, like, introduces the conflict. It's like a 50-episode show. It introduces the goal of, like, learning all the elements and, like, taking this journey, and you need to do it before the summer ends. And there's a ticking clock, and you see the previous avatars and what they were capable of, and you could be like, oh, well, this person could, you haven't seen that, obviously, no. But I'm just saying that as an example. But yeah, so they do that well, because now it's like, Zabuza's really scary, but we could get there. So it's really good. I don't know, just the way they crafted that is really good. However, talking about going back and forth, I feel like Kakashi's explanation and, like, figuring it out that he's alive should have come before we actually found out that Zabuza was actually alive. Yeah. Because it's like, it opens, Zabuza's alive. He, like, pulls the needles out of his neck, and he's like, oh, I feel like it would have been, it's a poor editing decision to put that, and then it cuts back and Kakashi's like, maybe he's still alive. I feel like if Kakashi was like, use needles, and the pressure points are in the neck, and something doesn't make sense, and then it's like, I should remove the bandages and drain the blood. What if he's still alive? And then he wakes, and then you could cut back and, like, build some real tension. But I think the budget didn't allow for that. I don't know. Yeah, it definitely was kind of weird, because it's like you already know he's still alive. And then, of course, with, like, the level that Kakashi's at, of course he's going to figure it out. Yeah. And it's not going to be that hard for him to figure it out. And because we already know that he's alive, it's not like,
oh my god, he's figuring it out. It's like, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
he would figure that out.
It makes sense he would figure it out. If you were going to show it before, maybe have him not figure it out right away, or have him just literally not figure it out at all. Like, if you're going to show us and then he'd be like, yeah, that was a crazy fight. Something doesn't feel right. No time to think about that. Better focus on training, focus on rest. No need to worry about that. We still need to protect him. But then it's like...
But at the same time, then they probably wouldn't go so hardcore into
Yeah,
training, so...
Exactly. Yeah, so there's I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
there's multiple ways they could have gone with that. This is like a 20-year-old show at this point. But, yeah, they should have... I feel like they should have shown it after. That was the only real thing that I had on that. So we were talking... Okay, first of all, before we get into another big discussion, the Inferno Squad, the ANBU Black Ops, and that whole explanation. I think every village has... And you'll find this out quickly, but I think every village, at least the Leaf Village, and I believe the village hidden in the sand, have ANBU Black Ops of some kind, like or some equivalent to that, and you'll find out more about that in the future. But yeah, so that's not just relevant to this other village.
Okay.
It's also relevant to what's happening at the Leaf, and I think that's kind of implied with the way Kakashi was explaining that, but it's not like explicit. So I felt like making that note, because it's not like a spoiler or anything. It's just like there's a division of the Leaf military that deals with the similar kind of thing, tracking shit down. That's why he's talking about the Sharingan. Mm-hmm. It's like they have similar things. It's implied. It's not actually said. So there's that. Last episode, or the episode before that, we talked about... I think it was last episode. We talked about Naruto's reaction to Zabuza dying, and whether or not he was jealous, or it was like a kid's show trying to keep it PG without like death, and like, how could you steal my kill, and this kind of weird situation. And I think they were still trying to ride that line when they were explaining it. It's like, now Naruto has another shot. They're trying to paint it like, oh, Naruto's happy he's alive and that a life wasn't taken, but it's like... he wants a challenge. He wants another crack at this guy.
I feel like he's feeling like, oh, it was my plan that like, really took this guy, that like led to this guy getting taken out, but I didn't get to finish the job. Mm-hmm. And now I can go back and like do an even better plan and take him out again.
Yeah, so it's, I think that our suspicion, like that discussion we had, actually bears fruit, because I didn't read it this way at all. I guess I just sort of didn't think about it on a deeper level of him being more jealous, because I thought that I was all caught up in like, oh, he's so righteous and he just wants to, I don't know. But I think they're also on like a deeper level, they're drawing on like a similar convention, because there's a similar attitude that the main character of Hunter x Hunter has, that Goku has, where it's like less about being righteous and moral, and also about, I want to challenge, I want to fight, I want to get stronger. So he's alive, good, because I can have another crack at him. So
yeah.
I think they're drawing on that, but I guess I just didn't put that together the first time I watched the show a long time ago. A lot of things to talk about this episode. So Haku is the tracker ninja, has some kind of a closer lieutenant-style relationship with Zabuza. Kind of also like a caretaker, it seems.
Yeah.
With the way that he stopped. And it is a he. They've said he multiple times. That wasn't just because they didn't know. It's a he. Okay. Even though he looks like a girl and he sounds like a girl.
I was a little bit confused because, like, normally for, like, guys, they don't do, like, so much blushing, like, all the time.
Yeah. Haku's supposed to be, like, really feminine in general. But yeah, like, at first you're just like, Haku reaches down and he's just like, don't, keep your filthy hands off of him. And then you later find out it wasn't like this, it wasn't necessarily this, like, protective thing. It's more of like a... Zabuza was about to cut his head off, like, with this hidden knife. And then Inari, another introduced a new character. He doesn't believe in heroes. He thinks Naruto's an idiot for wanting to go out there and help stuff. What's your impression of him, of little Inari?
Well, I don't know if this is right, but I'm guessing, like, his dad was, like, killed in fighting, and now he's all like, if my dad was the best and he couldn't beat the bad guys, So you can't eat it. He thinks that they're all gonna die. He thinks that the fate of anyone who's like a warrior is they're just gonna die.
Interesting predictions. And yeah, with going back to our first discussion, this is the last note I had talking about chakra. We already kind of did, but compared to a lot of other like power systems in shows, I feel like chakra is kind of like bare bones-ish. It's just like your natural energy, but it's kind of to compare it to alchemy is more like, because we're big fans of Fullmetal Alchemist, and that's like your favorite shonen that you've seen, and one of your favorite shows. Alchemy like is also a physical thing, but it's less so. Like alchemy requires more focus. Like, it doesn't take a lot out of you physically, but you need to be able to visualize what you're doing.
You need to like know a lot in order to like you have to like understand like what things are made of and like do a lot of like
In this one, like if you want to do a fire jutsu, you just need to kind of visualize it happening as well. But it draws on you more physically than alchemy does. Like at one point, I guess I shouldn't do spoilers for Brotherhood, but Ed's like mortally wounded and he needs to like perform a really complicated piece of alchemy, and he was still able to do it to save himself, even though he was like super fucked. And it didn't like take a lot of out of him physically. But in this, it's a little bit different. It does take a lot more out of you to do jutsus and stuff like that. But that's the last thing I had. Quite a long discussion, a whole 10-minute discussion just on this one episode. I'm really liking the show. This is kind of when the show really starts to pick up, so it's less powering through and more actually enjoying the ride that we're on. Although it does, ebb and flow and everything like that. So.
Oh, one thing that I just am gonna bring up again, but it's definitely interesting. How do you say it? Tazuna?
Yeah, the bridge builder.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting how like the difference between like his attitude and his grandson's attitude.
Mm-hmm.
He's like so casual about like.
Who is Tazuna?
Yeah, like he's just kind of like, well, if they die protecting me, then that's just the way it is, or whatever, almost. In a way, and his like he doesn't. It seems like he doesn't really think that like fighting is like this horrible thing, and I don't know. And then his grandson is like, "This is horrible. This is the worst thing you could do. Get out of my house."
Yeah, I guess so. They are kind of. I guess it's just their life experience.
Yeah, and like he's like, it's okay. You can be rude to them all you want, but he's definitely being rude to them in like a different way.
Yeah, it's more of like I don't know. I feel like he's resigned. Like Inari, I guess I won't talk about Inari because you don't really know him that well. But yeah, there is some difference in their perspectives for sure. I guess we'll learn more about that as the show goes on. I won't like do a deep dive on their characters yet, since we're just getting to know them. But that'll conclude the reaction to episode 10 of Naruto: The Force of Chakra. We'll see you guys in the next one. Check out our other reactions if you haven't already. We should at this point have the Fullmetal Alchemist opening breakdown, where we break down and rank and review all of the Fullmetal Alchemist openings from top to bottom from both series, Brotherhood and 2003. That's a really long video, but it's something that we had a lot of fun doing, even if it is kind of a shit show. But yeah, check that out. It was a lot of fun, and stay tuned for the next episode. Peace.